And I thought, I can go by myself. Oh my God, was that uncomfortable. I thought everybody was looking at me.
Mhm.
I'm like sneaking.
You're like going to a meeting, like all sneaky.
Yeah.
Welcome, Woven Ones. This is Generation Woven, where the voices of three generations blend into one tapestry of truth, laughter, love, and life.
There's an invisible thread that ties us all through the rises, through the falls. We are stronger when we stand as one, together shining like the sun.
Have you ever sat in your car knowing you want to go inside, but feeling completely frozen? And maybe you rehearsed it in your head. Maybe you tell yourself next time. And eventually, because you don't have the guts, you just drive home. We've been there. Today, we're talking about how hard it is actually to walk into a room all by yourself, alone. The fear of being seen, that awkward seconds where you don't know where to stand, the quiet voice that says, maybe you don't belong here, and the courage to stop waiting for someone else to come with you. So let's talk about that today. So I have a story, and then I want to hear your stories. So this happened after our separation, and it wasn't a great phase of my life. My self-confidence was low, and in our separation, my husband at the time and I decided to split, and he lived in a different state. It was just a tough season. And during that time, a good friend of mine invited me to the Marine Ball. And I thought, it sounds so good, and I need to come out and just have some fun. But you know what? I just dragged out the idea of getting a dress, getting the makeup on,
Because it was all too
because
much.
it was a lot. And I didn't, when you dress up and you go somewhere, you want to feel good. So I
Mhm.
didn't feel good. And at the last moment, literally in the hour before the Marine Ball started, I went to TJ Maxx. I sat in the car and I'm like, I don't really want to go, but I love my friend and she invited me. And then I just said, just go, Narina, just go and see if you can find a dress. And somewhere I was like, I hope I don't find a dress. I hope I don't find a dress. But of course I did. Beautiful black evening gown. And by that time I was late. So I literally bought some underwear and I bought this beautiful dress. I ran with no shoes to the cashier and I said, the tag's in the back, just scan it and let me go. I am late. And she scanned and I paid and I left. And I think at that point I was in such a state, I just said, I'm going to go.
Mhm.
And I did. But walking in there was so, so hard. Everybody was part of a couple. It was beautiful. And I walked in by myself, luckily saw my friend. And you know what? Looking back, it was like it was the beginning of it's okay. You can go in by yourself. And I had a ball. At the Marine Ball, I had a ball. So even though it was hard, sometimes you just need to do it. So Tasha,
Well, I've always wanted to go to a Marine Ball.
do you?
I mean, I don't think I ever will, I guess,
You
maybe,
never
but at this
know.
I don't know. But I've always, like, wanted to go to one because it
Yeah.
always looked like so much fun and, um, you get to dress up. I love a
Mhm.
good reason to dress up. Very similar to yours was after my separation, and that now I can't imagine being somebody who doesn't just walk in everywhere by
Right.
myself. Like, the confidence, it's so
Uh-huh.
different, but at the time, that's not where I was at all,
Mm.
and it's taken years
Mm.
of practice and years of building that self-confidence. I remember I wanted to do something. I felt really good this day. And I was like, I feel really good, but I don't have anyone, like no one's available.
Mm.
Everyone's busy. I don't have anyone. Um, and I decided to go out to dinner by myself. So I go to a local restaurant. We have this place called Candlelight, and I went to the
Mm.
one in Rock Falls. And I walk in, and I was going to go sit at a table or a booth by myself. And I was so nervous. I remember walking in and thinking, are people going to wonder why I'm alone? Are they going to think, like, oh, is somebody else meeting you? And I was just anticipating all the things that could be said to me. So I walk in and I go, just table for one. And she goes, do you want to sit at the bar? And I go, yes. It totally like kind of robbed my little moment of sitting at a table
Mm.
because she asked if I wanted the bar. And I was like, I'm not going to say no because you just gave me an out.
Yeah.
So I did have to try again, but I sat at the bar and had some conversations but I did try again and eventually sat at a booth by myself and enjoyed a meal. And it really wasn't that bad. While I thought people would be questioning me or like looking at me, and no one really cared. No one cared that I was in there having dinner alone. And I think that's the thing that gets us is we get inside of our own heads
Yes,
and we
absolutely.
we anticipate everyone else judging us. And I'm not sure why we do that. I mean, I guess I kind of get it as uh we care about how we look, how we're perceived, what people
Mm.
say. You know, we put so much pressure
We do.
on the external. But after that, I made that step and, since then it's not scary. I mean, I've gone on a vacation by myself.
Oh, wow.
I took a road trip to nowhere. I didn't know where I would end up and just got in my car
I love
and
that.
drove
Yeah.
and then, ended up in some amazing random places, met some cool people and yeah, and so I think taking those little steps, it's not
Mm.
going on a road trip by yourself one day. It's going to dinner, going to a movie, doing something small to build that confidence and see that it's not that scary in
So
the end.
is the bar typically for single people that don't have dates and
I
meet
think the
people there?
I think the bar is an easy
Mhm.
entry point because when you're by yourself, I don't know if maybe that person when she said that, that's what she does when she's by
Oh, yeah,
herself and
maybe.
maybe that's why she recommended it.
Mhm.
And then I just didn't have the courage to be like, "No, I want a table of my own."
Did she look like she was feeling sorry for you?
No.
Probably not, right?
No, I don't think
Just
I think she
giving
just
an option.
she was just kind of
Yeah.
offering that up as maybe that's something that she does. I don't think
Mm.
any harm on that, but she probably didn't realize that I was going there with this like plan. And I had to try again, but it it was like that first step and
Yeah.
it was nerve-wracking. And I remember sitting in my car and thinking, okay, you're gonna go in and do this. And I
Okay.
look back, like
Do
I said, I
this.
look back now and I'm just like, I'll go out to eat, I'll go do anything by myself. It's
Right.
not as much of a thing, but it was a growth opportunity
Right,
for
right.
me. What about
Hmm.
you, Judy? You ever
Yeah.
do
Well, I'm
things alone?
thinking a little bit different approach.
Mm.
Okay.
Imagine
Ooh,
that, huh?
yeah.
But we're talking about you're not alone.
Yes.
And I remember one Christmas, my ex-in-laws had invited the children to Christmas dinner. And Christmas is a big deal for me.
Mm.
And my children are a big deal to me. So, of course, I wanted them to spend time with grandma and grandpa. That was more important than
That's
anything
nice.
else. So, in doing so, I started to have a little pity party that I was going to be alone.
Mm.
And then I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I was not going to let any joy be stolen from me.
I like that.
And so I cooked a small turkey, I made dressing, I
Mm.
made a salad, I actually had a bottle of wine, I lit a candle, and I celebrated Jesus' birth
Meal for
by
one.
myself.
Wow.
And that was a real big moment for me in growth because I knew that I put the children first. I wanted them to always have family.
Mm.
And but I also took care of me
Mm.
and treasured the moment. And at the end of the day, the kids came home, everybody was happy. It was a win-win situation. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I'm glad I did it.
Did you have a lot of leftovers that week?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Well, not with
Oh, with the
5
kids.
children, but
Of course.
I
Oh, of
think
course.
being that selfless to acknowledge, sometimes parents, I've seen it in people very close to me, is they want their child with them on holidays. Holidays are a very, very touchy part where
Mhm.
They
people
are.
get divorced. The children have to go to different homes on different days to share that custody. But then you've got a mother. I mean, that's who I've been closest with. I'm sure, dads experience this too. But I've seen a mother who doesn't have their children for that first Christmas and they're home by themselves. And like I'd gone over to spend time with a friend once, but it's very tough when you have your kids all the time and then it's like a special holiday. Now you don't.
Yeah.
And to
Mhm.
be able to also look at it from the optional side, right? Not the
Mm.
forced side, but the optional side of you giving up your children for the better good of
Mm.
them and family. Like that takes a moment of strength too when we can be selfish people.
We can.
So it
We
is
can,
tough though
and
at
it's
holidays.
hard, sometimes, but that was more important to me to have
Yeah.
them happy and to have
And
family.
Family around them.
but then for you not to have your pity party,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
take
Good
that
job.
moment and take some me time, right? And
Mhm.
make your own dinner, do your thing and make it more like romanticize your life a little. I think
The
I've
bubble
heard that
bath.
say.
Bubble
No
bath
bubble
would have
bath.
been that would have been good. The whole concept of us coming into this world alone by ourselves and then leaving this world alone by ourselves. And if we're lucky and blessed, we have families, we have good friends that comes alongside. But I don't know, why are we not more okay? I've seen some of friends that I have that they will do anything not to be alone. They'll go into
Yeah.
relationships that you can tell is not good for them, but that still is better for them than to be
To be
alone.
with someone is better than
Right. Be
alone.
alone.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
if you can just be okay, like you said, bubble bath or not, but you cooked a whole meal,
No croissant either.
never saw, but just being okay and put some music on and just be in the
mhm.
moment and look at the cup half full, not half empty, that which you don't have, but that which you do. It's just such a mind shift, isn't it?
It takes that takes some work though,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
It takes
It
those
doesn't
Absolutely.
first
happen
steps.
overnight,
No, it
though.
takes those first steps, those, putting yourself into a situation that you're safe but uncomfortable,
Mm,
right? I think that's part of, people not like, yes, if you're staying at home and not doing something because you
mm.
don't have somebody to do it with, that's the piece where you need to push yourself a little bit because you may find your people wherever you go.
I remember
Good.
wanting to see a movie, I don't remember what it was now, but none of my girlfriends were available, and I thought, "I can go by myself." Oh my god, was that uncomfortable. I thought everybody was looking at me,
Mhm.
I'm, like, sneaking.
You're like going to a meet like all sneaky.
Yeah,
Like, is
and
anyone gonna
it's
notice
like,
me here
probably
alone?
no one even noticed me,
No,
No,
but
I'm
I
sure they
honestly,
weren't.
if you think about if you go to a movie theater with somebody, are you paying that close of
No,
attention to anybody
no.
else?
no.
No, we're not. We are as humans, we're more focused on ourselves. I
Mm,
read something. Well, I didn't read it. I watched it. There's this amazing woman who talks about body language, and one of the things she talks about is when you go into a room alone or a meeting people at like an after not an after party cocktail hour,
yeah.
right? So if you're going to a cocktail hour or you're meeting people and maybe your group's not there yet, is as soon as somebody walks in and they get their drink and they're alone, they have their drink, now they're looking for connection. So that's a way to find somebody to
Mm.
talk to is if you see somebody else who gets there, grabs their drink and is looking, the moment they start looking around, just start a conversation. Be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, are you waiting for somebody? How are you today?" Or, what are you here
But
for?"
that takes some growth, that
It
takes some
does.
confidence.
Oh, yes, over time,
Mhm.
but those are also things to kind of learn and practice. We can
Mm.
practice these things as we start to be okay being alone.
But if you think about it, what's different? What's the difference between going on a social event like that and you're being in the grocery store and just turning to the person behind you and just having a conversation? So maybe that's a good place where you can start practicing.
I mean, I've done that, and I mean, now, probably not years ago. I don't think I did years ago. Now I do, and sometimes people just kind of like smile at me and keep walking, like they don't want to talk.
They don't want to talk.
No.
I tend to, and I don't know if it's on purpose anymore, but when I see older people, I always make an effort to say, "Hi, how are you today?" Or, just to acknowledge that they exist because
They might be hungry for conversation.
and a lot of them are.
Yeah.
They are,
that
and
is probably a good age group to try it.
You know what I found too? That if you're in a space or in a place and you feel lonely, you don't want to go outside, go find a place where you can serve. Because immediately the focus is switched from you and your pretty party, and you serve other people that might
Yes.
also be by themselves for that holiday. And I can tell you, you'll come back on a high because you have now done something nice for someone else.
Yep.
And I think we're so focused on our pain sometimes that we don't think about other people. So switching that, finding, a soup kitchen where you can dish out some food, or you'll find something. There's something in all communities.
just
it's
go
that
to a
mind-
nursing home.
Nursing home, yeah.
They're
Yes.
hungry for attention and talk and
Right.
to feel,
Like a human.
yeah.
Right.
And I think that mindset shift, though, is like you said, it's in all those aspects, is turning it away from people looking at me, something about me, and making it about somebody else to help you make that step to do something alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week we want you to do just one thing alone: dinner, a walk, a coffee shop, whatever it is, but just do it by yourself, just solo.
Mhm.
So comment on this video right now and tell us what you're going to do. We are very curious. We are ready and we are reading. Please know that we are reading every single one. And we are here to cheer you on because you are a woven one and you got this.
Yeah.
So until next time, God bless you.
There's an invisible thread